First things first, you get your string, which is about 5 yards, and cut it into pieces, 6 pieces, which are about a yard each. And you're going to need 6 of those. Once you do that, then you can get your stick ready. So pause it if you need to, and then we'll move on. Now that you've got your pieces of string cut into individuals, you can start putting them on your stick. We're going to do a lark's head knot. First, we match the ends up so that we get the middle of the string. Put your loop over the string, and then you're going to reach through the loop and pull the ends down and then pull it up to make a lark's head knot right there. And you're going to do that 6 times. Okay, so now I have all 6 of my strings, and I have mine all facing the same way. You don't have to do that, but if you'd like them to look neat, I would suggest it. Okay, next, you're going to grab your loom, turn it over to the back. I mean, it's cardboard. It doesn't really matter which side is which. And you're going to line your strings up with your slits. And you're going to take each set of strings and pull them down into a set of slits. And I may have to turn my loom here and hold it closer, but I really want to get my strings down in. And once I get the strings kind of centered into the slits, then I'll pull it tight. But you do that all the way down, one after another, and try not to twist the strings or it'll look a little goofy toward the end. All right, if you've got all your strings in, now you can kind of pull it, snug it up a little bit, because you want it to be fairly tight right here. I'm pulling these strings underneath to kind of snug up this. And what that'll do, it'll also give you a little extra slack when you take it off the loom, that you can kind of mess with it. Okay, that's pulled straight. Now I need my 2 little spacers, and I'm going to lay them right along the edge, and I'm going to put these warp threads through the slots at the bottom. Now I'm not going to pull super tight, just tight enough that it is not floppy. You don't want it to be so tight that it holds everything down, but you also don't want it to be like super loosey-goosey. I don't even know how you could do it loosey-goosey, but you definitely don't want that. That's too loose. So you want to tighten it up. But again, don't tighten it down too hard, because you're going to want to use your shed stick. And if you tighten it down too hard, your shed stick doesn't work very well. So as you can see, I'm just kind of going one by one straight down into the corresponding matching slots, slits, whatever you want to call them, at the bottom. And I'm almost finished. If you're not, pause it and finish up. All right, so I'm going to leave this here. Actually, I moved that too fast. Let me stick that back up there. You're going to flip your loom over, and if you have tape, this is the way I like to do it, because I'm going to untie these later anyway. I just kind of take the first 4 and make a loose knot, take the next 4 and make a loose knot, And then the next 4 make a loose knot. And then I tape them. If you don't have tape, if you don't have this, then what I would do instead is go down and make overhand knots with every second string. You're gonna probably end up untying these later. So that's not my favorite way. My favorite way is to do it like this so you can really snug them up. But this works if you don't have any tape, and it'll be just fine. I don't tie them super tight because like I said, I'm probably going to untie them later, but that's an alternative. If you have tape though, masking tape, I just like to tie them like this and then tape them down. And that way they don't go anywhere. You're not going to be pulling on them. The cardboard is going to hold them. And that keeps them out of the way. You can also, if you wanted to do it all the way like this, all the way across, you could tape these too. I don't like when I'm doing my loom, when I flip it over, these tails like flop around everywhere, and I don't like that. So that's another reason why I tape them up. And then there's the back. So you flip it over. This is the bottom. This is the top. It's going to eventually hang from the stick. And then the last thing you do is, if you're going to use a shed stick, remove one of the spacers and then thread your shed stick in. Depending on whether you're left-handed or right-handed and what your pattern is, that's the way you're going to thread your stick. But this allows you to open and close the shed so that you can easily come back on the return. I'm right-handed, so I weave better with this hand. This hand is like, and so I like to have my shed open when I'm going this way. You can also use this as a beater when you weave. And that is how you thread a cardboard loom, simply to make a wall hanging. Microphone. I need to turn on. Mic check. Oh, mic check. Oh, okay, I'm done.